Working on my 97 FLD. Got a problem with the fuel gauge starting to jump around and act crazy, and it's the only gauge that's doing that. So going to change the sending unit, and it is right in there. And I don't know if I got to take anything off besides the sending unit. I don't think so. I did this once before a few years back, and I don't remember it being a problem. So I think all I got to do is take these 5 screws out of it. And of course, first I'm going to loosen up those 2 screws. There's a ground and a power screw on there. I'll take those off. I mean the wires, you know. And so let's get a close-up on there. That wire on the left, I think, is going to be the ground, and I think the one in the middle is the one that actually goes to the gauge on the dashboard. So I took a air hose and kind of blew the dust off. I'll get started there. Naturally, I can't tripod this job, but we'll just do it in sections and put those clips together. I just tried to break that Phillips screw loose right there on that one. Sorry about the focus, the camera's doing that on its own. And it's too far away. I mean, I need to be right directly on top of it, which is not possible without taking the tank down. So I'm going to see if I can get it with a vice grip, because it's sticking out on the sides far enough. I might be able to break that loose with a vice grip. I got both of those screws broke loose, and since both of those wires look pretty much identical, the size of them and the length and everything, the only difference I'm seeing right now is that the eye on the one in the middle looks like it's a little bit bigger than the one that's on the side, and it is important that they go back where they belong. Now, a brass screw and washer is what came off with that, and the screw in the middle is a flathead, and it's a Phillips on the side. So maybe the one in the side's been replaced, I don't know. So next thing is to oh, by the way, both of those screws are loose now, so I can go on ahead and take those off of there, and then those 5 little screws that hold the whole thing on. And I took the gas cap off because it was kind of in the way of me reaching in there. I'm going to put it back on and then take a wire brush and clean that up a little bit in there and blow the air in there, get the dust out so I don't have too much of that stuff falling in the tank. Looks like a 5/16 on a 1/4 inch drive is a pretty snug fit. I'm going to go on ahead and break those loose. I need 2 hands to reach in there good. I got those screws out. This is the new one that's going in there, and that's what it looks like. There's the top of it, and this little crescent shaped scale on there is the part that actually goes bad. Those little lines on there, they're like resistors, and so the higher up the float goes, then that resistor shows that you got a full tank or working its way down to the bottom, and so that's all that is. So I'm going to see if I can fish that old one out of there and then match it up side by side with this one. Now this tank is a used tank that I picked up because mine was leaking, had a hole in it, and I changed it. And this was a used tank that somebody at my job had that was a good match, and it mounted up and everything matched up on it, and so same size tank. But it could have been from a different year truck that maybe it called for a different fuel gauge. So hopefully these will match up. Looks like a perfect match to me. Now, what I could do is stick a tape measure down in the tank and measure from the top of the hole that this goes in down to the bottom of the tank and see how far distance that is. How close does this come to the bottom? To give me an idea how much fuel I got left when it's reading empty. I don't know if I can get in there with the camera or not, but yeah, I think I can. We're reading right at 23 inches. So let's pull that tape back out of there and see how that compares to these. 23 inches there, and down here we're going to have about 3 inches more sticking out the bottom. So it's about 3 inches off the bottom. I don't know how many gallons that means are left. Probably not a whole lot. Probably, I don't know, it might be 5 or 10 gallons on each side. Well, I pulled that gasket off. I'm going to go ahead and push it down on here and get that on there and put that back in. Now the way they had it on there, they had screws. These are self-tapping sheet metal screws that you might use on roofing or something, on sheet metal siding or roofing. But I don't know if that's original or if somebody did this on the tank, because it wasn't my tank originally. But anyway, as long as they work, I'll put them back in. In my case, this gasket and these holes don't quite line up all that good, and I'm going to have trouble finding those holes, putting the screws in once I'm in the tank there. So I'm hoping that these, I just stuck the gasket, I stuck the screws in the gasket, and I think there's enough resistance there to hold on to them until I get myself in position, because I don't think I'm going to be able to find those holes working in that area in there. Got it. I'm in the position here to start putting those screws back in. Okay, gotta make sure those contacts on these wires are good and clean. And what I thought was the bigger one doesn't have a bigger eye. It just had another brass washer still sticking to it. But it also has a little bit of red right there by my thumb on it. That's the one that goes in the middle. One has that red stuff on it. In my case, I mean, on yours you gotta look for something, or else put a piece of tape or a wire tie or something on one of them to make sure you know where it goes. This is the old one, and I'm trying to see, I don't know if we're getting a good picture of this or not. But in the middle of that crescent shaped area there that has all those little contacts that send the information on how high your fuel level is, it looks like there's a lot of wear on that. So that's why the needle's been jumping up and down on the fuel gauge a lot. I'm hoping that's all it is. I got one of these that's gone bad in my Bobcat over there. That is a nightmare to change that one. I've changed it before. The excavator is an easy one to change. On that particular excavator, I've changed it twice. I don't know what the deal is with those machines, but they wear out fast for some reason.